Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, aspirational, international, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the Afternoon Swing Trading Floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food and money. YouTube, love life, live life, and trade it. What's going on, my friends? It's Thursday. My boy Simon's in the building. What's up, Simon? How's the weather your way, my man? Anthony says, good afternoon. Hey, bud. Dawn says she is here. I love it. Everyone welcome Dawn in December. December's coming around the corner as well. Believe it or not, October right in front of us. One more month to go. Dawn says the S-Curve video was great. Thank you for watching it. Sounds like you tiptoed onto the website early. Yeah, I usually post on the websites before I email it out. I don't know where it is on the website, but if you watched it, awesome. Wherever we sent it, beautiful. But even if you haven't watched it yet, it'll be there. I'll be sending it out Saturday for everyone else. Angela said she made it to Toastmasters meeting, 1 hour, 9 holes of golf, and I'm here. Solid. That is lovely. So good. Well, folks, there's a lot to talk about today. Yesterday, the funny part is I notice, and it's hard for me to know this in advance, obviously, but if I ever have a losing day, the SPY usually looks like that, where it's just a flat day and you get some random gaps, and the gaps that I do play don't have any momentum and so on and so forth. And, a little bit of an inside day candle, some pretty small candles. It's usually, if I do lose, that's what it looks like oftentimes. And this morning, phenomenal gap on the SPY. So was a profitable day. A few people are starting to post some of their charts. Congrats, Michael Ward. That's awesome, man. So we have 1 week left in September. And right now, sitting at 3.87 hours for September. Made 0.8 hours on the SLB weekly options newsletter, and then 0.58 from that THO Thor trade that we took today. So we'll be looking at and talking about both of those today, along with a lot of the stocks in the transportation sector. Today is going to be a rowdy and ramped up day, so I hope you're all pumped up for this. Look at the volume coming in on the SPY. Tomorrow, I believe, is quadruple witching day, which is option expiration day when you have monthlies, quarterlies, dailies, and weeklies all expiring on the same day. So we'll probably get a decent amount of volume coming out of there tomorrow. I don't know if I've deleted this chart. I think I did. But here's my E-minis. Nope, I have not deleted it. This was my E-minis analysis yesterday. I think you all appreciate this. So when I was looking at the E-minis, I was trading, getting some stuff set up, was right here. That's where they were. And I thought about scalping some ticks as it broke above into that area. Thought about it pretty hard. I'll zoom in to kind of show you that pattern. Let me zoom in. So zooming in, here's what it was looking like, right? You had that nice little consolidation right here, just a good consolidation. And I was going to scalp from like 216, scalp a point up into that range. Didn't, no big deal. So I was like, you know what, let me just set up a trade and see if I can walk away from it. This was the trade set up on like a bigger time frame. And the low of this candle, 29.13.25. And I wanted it at 29.12.75. The good old 2 ticks lower. No big deal. Missing just an absolute monster trade. I'd still be in that, honestly, because with futures, why not? Same thing with SPY, SPY, I like going long, so I'm a fan of longs. The bulls are here. Anyway, new all-time high on the SPY. That's cool. Here's the Qs, and I think today was a really good gap on the Qs. As we talked about yesterday, you had an inside day candle. In fact, you had 2 inside day candles. This was an inside day candle. And then this was an inside day candle. And yesterday was also a black candle, which means you have some short sellers getting in there, and you got a good gap up today. So, almost hitting that 50 EMA, another gap up. I did not day trade the NASDAQ ETF today, but could have made some decent opportunities and trades on it, I think. So anyway, that's pretty much the trend on the Qs. That looks nice. IWM taking its sweet time, realistically, but it is up a little bit. I think my buddy Robert Falco's in a trade on the IWM. Nice little new white soldier there. And then here's the IYT. IYT, the transportational ETF. This is the weekly chart, and the weekly chart is just at a really nice resistance. But you'll notice it's made a good bullish move. It's retested, and things are just hanging out. So, I mean, as far as transports are concerned, this is a good retest. And what we've had over the last week or so is a nice consolidation. I'm excited about some transports potentially continuing higher, which is a really appropriate time to look at transport since it is today. And we are in a transport stock together as a swing trade on Alaska Airlines. So that'll be pretty cool to check that one out. And then, of course, here's the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the DIA. And the Dow Jones up 1%, about to make history with, there you go, a new all-time high. So new all-time highs across the board. Market, probably not the best time to buy it right now. But again, if you buy the dips, markets look good. Let's enjoy a bull move from here. As again, whatever dip we have is still viable until something changes, right? Until we get a candle pattern that's really strong and scary, which is certainly possible. But, if you come over here on the Qs, we looked at just 2-3 days ago. I was like, guys, this is a pretty solid evening star reversal, decent gap. Let's see if it breaks. But right, here's the 50. 50 is still right in front of our face, and we just never broke it. We haven't, no double tops, no closures, no necklines, no nothing. So until we get some more patterns or signals, I think we're going to continue to remain a little bit bullish. Angela's asking if Walmart's on my list. I don't think Walmart's on my list, but I will make sure to put it on the list for tomorrow. Friday, Walmart. Done. All right, let's hop in really quick. First trade on the list is Schlumberger, ticker symbol SLB, also pronounced Schlumberger. And this is the one that was a weekly options newsletter trade. So kind of happy to get out of this one. Most traders actually trade this one pretty similarly. Not everyone, but many people did. So let me just hide all the drawings for you. And on SLB, we set up the trade on this day right here. We got skipped on this day right here. The next day gapped down, and we got filled on that day. And then this was Tuesday right here. And I mentioned unless SLB closes above 61.50 tomorrow, if it doesn't do that, I'll be looking to get out for a small gain or a small loss the next day. So yesterday, which was Wednesday, was right here, and SLB closed at 61.23. So it did not close above 61.50. And then this morning, Schlumberger gapped up, and that gap up was, in my opinion, a good place to just lock in that weekly options trade for about 0.8 hours. So not bad. Almost getting the loss back that we took on Seagate. And if Macy's works, then we will more than pay for what we lost on Seagate, and that's just trading, right? My buddy Yates is going to keep holding that particular trade because he likes the gap up. He likes the higher high, and he's kind of planning on something like this, which, hey, I can totally understand. It's just all it comes down to how much time you have on the trade. So anyway, SLB, I'm out of that one, and congrats for those traders who made that one. Sylvan made some gains. My buddy Chief played that one really well. Adrian made some gains on SLB. So anyway, that's pretty much it. That's Schlumberger. That's a little bit of an update on that one. And let's hop into Apple. AAPL, Apple, bouncing off of that support level, that 217 price. And this one's just kind of hanging out for the most part. I still think for right now, Apple's going to do something like this, where she just kind of chops around for a little bit. So buy it as low as you can and just kind of hang on to it for a while. I think Apple's going to get kind of boring for a bit. Their products, they came out with their products. They had their conference. It's a very much buy the rumor, sell the news kind of company, has been for a while. And I'm totally cool with it trading sideways. If you have enough shares to do a covered call, you could certainly consider like a 240 covered call and just make sure it expires before earnings. But other than that, yeah, honestly, at this point on Apple, if you play Apple, just look to buy it as low as you can. Let it chop around for a while. It's just going to hang out for a bit. Not saying it can't go higher. Obviously, if it does go higher, that would be great. But this particular situation, I love the trend. I mean, just buy it, buy as cheap as you can. The other half an hour, if you're adding into some positions and kind of tiptoeing your way around this trade, another half position could be added around the 50 EMA on Apple. Before we dive into tons of other trades, let's just go really quickly look at our swings that we do have. We have one other one. I'll add Twitter and Macy's to the list. So Twitter today, I mentioned I was going to keep this one open all week, and it did trigger today. So I mentioned I'm going to leave it open all week. Hopefully that was the right call. And bottom line, we're just shorting a pullback on Twitter. It's still a little bit of a bearish trend. We have a stop above the 20 EMA on a daily as of today. We have the stop above the 10 EMA on the daily. So it's always a good idea, I think, to at least have one bearish position out there. And in fact, we have what was I going to say? We have two actually, Macy's and Twitter. So I'll look at Macy's in just a second. But Twitter, yeah, it looks okay. I mean, we triggered in that trade. That one looks fine. So that's doing its thing. And Macy's, this was the next and newest weekly options newsletter trade. And I still like it. That 35 cents is pretty far away for an at-the-money put. Not saying it can't lose, but I do like the fact that we're below all of the moving averages. I like the fact that it made a lower low. I like the fact that volume increased today. And Macy's, here's the weekly moving averages, right? So we're below the 20 and the 10 on the weekly. We're below the long-term moving averages on the weekly, the 200, and we're below the 100 on the daily. So you have a few reasons like, yeah, Macy's could break down. It might not, but we'll see. We will see. And, so that's Macy's. Here's ticker symbol NIO, and congrats to a few traders making some gains on NIO today. A little bit of gainage on this one. Nothing too wild and rambunctious, but here is your first 5-minute candles on NIO. And we were talking about this one, and we were looking at it yesterday. It's kind of like an S-curve type of, play on the hourly. You got your morning star reversal here in the first 5 minutes, and just had a little bit of quick pop, good for about 20, 25 cents. I didn't play that one personally, just it depends on how you played it. But here's the hourly, and we can see we are starting to get some decent candles, some really good compression. I like it. I think it is definitely worth keeping an eye on. I might wait one more day on NIO, but even though it is a brand new IPO, I still think it could be a fun one to trade. Let's just watch and see what it does today. I really like this high wave bearish candle. And if all things go well, then we might look to take this bullish if it does, in fact, break out. It might not pull all the way back to $6 for some of those people to lock in a trade. My buddy Troy actually has a 1150 covered call. So he bought some shares. I didn't know that you could sell calls on it already, but I guess you can. I haven't even looked at the option chain. I just thought it was going to be a little bit lower. But Troy B, he says he's got one. So 1150. Troy, let me make sure that's what he said. And October 11. Okay. Got it. All right. So realistically, NIO, watching it, we're going to keep it on the list. I like the fact that it's got that high wave candle. Tons of volume on the stock. Again, this one's going to be the new favorite of mine. well, a new favorite to trade because, again, it has a lot of volatility, has a lot of volume, not super expensive. Tons of people are going to like this one today. Ben says, I like the action today. I'm slowly accumulating an absolute zero position on my Roth with shares, and I will actually hold this one. All right. Cool, man. Thanks for the update. Good to know. So that is NIO. Next on the list, we have FedEx. And FedEx is the one that gapped down on earnings and then traded to a support and had a little bit of a pop-a-rooney today. A little bit of a gap up. I did not trade this one. Can't trade everything. But look at this 5-minute chart. Let me see if my boy Chief is here. Chief is loving FedEx recently. He's not here right now. He probably would have told me if he traded it. Chief, did you play FedEx today? So really nice move. I like that boom, boom, boom. Right, nice S-curve. Beautiful new white soldier, one white soldier candle on FedEx. That was cute. Here's the exponential moving averages, and you can see it's pulled right into both of those, 10 and the 20. So I like it. Looks good. So, yeah, I mean, we're kind of in this little channel. We're pretty sideways on FedEx. This is the weekly, and I don't know if we're going to get down to 221. Not entirely sure, but if we do, I think that would be a pretty decent spot to buy on FedEx. But for right now, I would just play this one on the hourly. Justin says Chief was in SPY calls from yesterday that he sold today. Nice. Nice. That's awesome. Well done, team. Straight up crushing it over here. I love it. All right, that's FedEx. Let's go look at Marvel, MRVL. And Marvel, this one is taking all of my power and might to keep holding. I wanted to sell it like 7 other times today, but I didn't really have a plan, or I didn't write it down, or didn't really discuss. I've only been in the trade 4 days. Here's the weekly. Again, you got the 100 on the simple moving average on the weekly charts acting as a support. When you base a trade off of the weekly, I know it's going to take time. That's the thing. Is Marvel's going to most likely take numerous weeks to actually get nice and high. I don't know if I want to be in this trade numerous weeks. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and tell myself to just be patient. So if MRVL does not close above 1912 by 3 o'clock Eastern, I'll just say by end of day, on Tuesday, I'll look to bail early if able. Simple as that. So that's going to be my rule. The reason I say 1912 is above the high of that candle right there. So again, when you're basing some analysis off of a weekly chart, yeah, things are going to take multiple weeks to really play out. I love the volume. I like the candle. Today's a new white soldier. I'm giving it some time. It's only Thursday, so it has 3 full days to hopefully break out of this little pennant pattern bullish. And if it does that, I'll keep holding. And if it doesn't, I will look to bail early on Marvel. That simple. Next on the list is UPS. And United Parcel Service is hanging out. I love this rotation right here on UPS. I'm a big fan. Big fan of this double bottom right here. So this one would be a very long-term play. Again, similar to what I just mentioned earlier. If we're looking at a weekly chart, it doesn't feel that way, but this is pretty much all of this year on UPS. That's pretty much 2018 in a nutshell. So if I was going to play UPS bullish, I would have a little bit of a longer-term perspective. But what I would say is this is pretty much the spot where you'd be looking at picking up some either A, longer-term shares, B, longer-term put sales, or longer term leaps. So that's really it on UPS. I do like this gap. You had an inside day candle Wednesday, gapped out, and UPS looks good. That's really all I have on UPS. It would definitely be a longer term play down here. The CBOE, nice. CBOE, believe it or not, this is a pretty fun stock to trade. And this is the weekly chart. So you had an absolute preposterously bullish 2017. Comically bullish 2017. Right? I mean, you're just making money hand over fist. And I love this weekly chart. I love the fact that it pulled back. I really like that it pulled back into the 100 on a weekly. Also, like the fact that it's a new white soldier on a weekly chart, which is a white candle that opens and closes above the prior day black candle's close. Also a big fan that the daily chart, you got yourself, oh man, I wish I saw that trade earlier. I'm going to have to blame that one on Justin Jeffrey for letting that slip through my fingers. Look at this nice high wave bearish candle, and you get an inside doji off of the 100. So it popped, it retest, it popped, it retest. Entry could have been there. Stop could have been right there. I like these two candles back to back. I like the volume. Yeah, I'd have to say CBOE probably continues higher. If you were looking at playing that one, hourly charts are going to look real toasty. So here's the hourly. I will say CBOE is a little bit of a wiki stock, so I usually would not advise taking breakouts on this one. Very similar to what it did over here or what it did over here. I would look to buy a dip as it pulls back into that 105 area on CBOE. Other than that, first target would be 110.95, which is the 200 simple on a daily chart. Next on the list is Hertz, HTZ. Hertz trading sideways. This is the daily chart. And right now we're just hanging out. So we are in between the 100 and 200 simple on Hertz. This is, again, the daily time frame. We're trading super sideways on Hertz. Now, here's the weekly. The 100 simple on a weekly is acting as a resistance. So we think that this support level would probably hold. And here is the daily chart. So the daily time frame on this one, if you were going to play Hertz, it'd be an aggressive play. But here is the hourly time frame. And all I could say is on Hertz, if you're playing it, it would be a aggressive bullish trade. There's your pennant pattern right there. And it would look for a good pop out of here. That'd pretty much be Hertz. I mean, it's a buy low, sell high. It is as a support. That wouldn't be a long-term trade for me. That would be like a quick in and out because, again, you have a really good support. 200's there on a daily, 100 there is on a weekly. In and out, move on, make your money, see what happens. Raytheon, RTN. RTN. And there was the pullback. Nailed it. So we looked at that. What day was this? Either the 17th or the 18th, we talked about, hey, if you're playing Raytheon, wait for that really quick, fast drop. Because this is when all the newbies started hopping on right there. This is the good time to buy. It's finally confirmed. It's finally broken out. And they're just getting slaughtered. So really quick snapback. The thing is, you could also see that on a weekly chart. You can see that it kind of has like this, a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders kind of a feel where you have this boom, boom, big sell off there and kind of like boom, look. And the cool part is that's coming right after this head and shoulders looking like pattern right here. So on Raytheon, the daily time frame, I like the quick snapback. I actually think it's probably a buyable event, and I would watch it pretty closely on the hourly. So if you're playing Raytheon, I think this is a good dip. This is probably the one that you would want to wait for, the one that you wanted. And again, this one dipped with the markets hitting all-time highs on the Dow and everything else. So it's kind of acting and dancing to the beat of its own drum, which is good. So for those looking at playing Raytheon, I think it's a relatively decent spot to just be keeping an eye pretty closely on that 15-minute chart, an hourly chart to buy the dip after that quick flash lower. Next on the list is good old Alibaba. BABA. Almost Newsom. Try again. I typed in barbecue and then I typed in something else. Alibaba's at 165.88. So there are some traders with some put sales down here. What's really cool on Alibaba is the fact that we did gap up today. I missed a bullish trade yesterday. Pretty gnarly bullish trade. I did get a good bullish trade on Tuesday on it, but alas, not good enough. So what we have now is we have a double bottom on Baba. Simon got in at 159.49. Whoa, good job, bud. It's a good entry. Very nice entry. So what I love about Baba is this is a killer double bottom. And here's the long-term moving averages. I mean, so far you have an inside candle on a weekly on the 100 simple. You couldn't really ask for much more than that. So if I have a daily time frame, it's just kind of hanging out. I'd say if it can close above 168.17, this should be a double bottom on Baba. It would be even better if it doesn't do it until next week. So I like the candle. It is another retest gap. It certainly could fill this gap and then bounce again. But what I'm hoping to see on Baba is, again, a little bit of a sideways trade and then a close above this neckline sometime next week. And if we can get that, you're going to want it to trade up higher, probably even into the 180s. And then all those traders who have leaps and shares, you'd probably at that point sell some covered calls, most likely. Ben says maybe everyone is waiting to buy until after the tariffs on Monday, so perhaps it runs on Monday. Yeah, that's certainly possible. I'd love it to be an inside candle because that would just mean it has a little bit more pressure building. So we will see. But a lot of people with put sales on this one, and we'll see if those premiums ever end up drying up. Salesforce has been pretty cool. When the announcement came out that the CEO was buying time, I mentioned that some traders, for those who had long positions, could buy some protective puts just in case. Just in case they want to protect the downside. And yeah, right now those are pretty much flat. I don't have any position in Salesforce yet. I'm one day hoping that it actually pulls back, but it probably doesn't. I mean, I really missed the move. I should have gotten it back in here. Weekly chart looks good. So you have an inside a week. I mean, this is a pullback to the 20. All things point to the upside on Salesforce. Here's the hourly chart. And hourly charts, if I was going to play Salesforce, I'd probably allow it one more pullback into about here, which is 154 with a stop at about 151, and that'd be about it. So pull back in about 154, pretty big bullish candle right now, and you would just expect the trend to somewhat continue. Ben says, yeah, I like 154. Nice. Car Guru, one of our other official swing trades, and at least we're not down on it. I will say that there's a very small chance this happens tomorrow, but it could occur. If I am in the positive on every one of our swing trades tomorrow, which would be Macy's, Twitter, Car Guru, Alaska Airlines, I know I'm going to be positive on, and Marvel. If I'm up on all five towards the end of the month, as you all know, I've done it numerous times before, I'll exit every one of the positions. Not saying it will happen. It probably won't because we have some that are bull, some that are bear. We have a really giant smattering of sectors, right? We got retail, we got tech, kind of transport, definitely transport and tech. So not bad. We have some bull, we have some bear, we have a bull tech, we have a bear tech. I'm feeling good. So I doubt everything is going to be profitable tomorrow, but just in case. I do like this pattern, and let's see my note. I'll leave alone until Thursday unless CarGuru takes out the low of Monday, and then I'll exit. So I guess I'm going to have to leave it alone. So today is 9/20/17. Leave alone until next Thursday unless profitable on all swings today. Oh, Simon, good catch. Okay. That's pretty much it. So I do like this pennant pattern. That's kind of cute. I'm hoping that we get a good pop out of here, bullish, and that's all I got on CarGurus right now. The weekly chart looks good. I kind of like this pattern. So just hanging tight. Okay, next on the list is Jansen & Jansen. So J&J up 1%. Chiazzo is in a killer bull put spread at 135, 130. And I love this. I love the gap. I love the trends. Baldwin family, are you still in Johnson & Johnson? So this thing has been putting in work the last few weeks. Here's the weekly charts, and Thomas's target is up here in this general area on Johnson & Johnson, J&J. Trend looks nice. Falco got called away for a profit, and that's all I can say on Johnson & Johnson. It's a really nice trend. One of those beautiful times where you have a blue chip stock, you know, and it pulls back to the 100 simple on a weekly, and you're just accumulating, picking up a share or two or however many. I never play Johnson & Johnson, but not that I never play it. I don't often play it, only because I can't be in everything. This is definitely, though, one of the stocks when I'm talking about when I'm talking to new traders, this is definitely one of the stocks that I bring up. You know, someone brand new, when we're discussing, you know, what stocks to buy, what companies to invest in, this is certainly one that gets brought up because everyone knows how Johnson & Johnson makes money. Anyway, pretty move. Nice job for all the traders making money on Johnson & Johnson. Well done. Another airline for today's Transportation Thursday is Southwest Airlines. Welcome to Southwest Airlines. We'd love to have you. So happy this thing finally bounced. It took months and months and months and months of me begging for it to bounce. It just made sense. It made sense that it would bounce down there, and it finally did. A lot of people made good money on that. Awesome. Thomas has a cover call expiring this Friday. This little pink line is what I think it does, simply because it has a really good, kind of a weird angled trend. It's hard for me to explain in words. It's just a visual thing. I'm seeing a trend that does this without any real obvious S-curve. You normally get a quick snap back into some moving averages. In fact, if I pull up a Bollinger Band, where's Bollinger Band? It's probably pulling away from the top band right now. Nope, it's actually inside. It made inside the top band today. Okay, yeah. Well, it still makes sense. I mean, I guess that just means it won't be as fierce, but maybe a sideways trade or just slows down. But I don't know if anyone is not in Southwest Airlines and wants to be in Southwest Airlines, but I think a pullback to about, 61 would be reasonably good dip to buy. And Thomas, I'll look at your covered call again tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure that it will expire worthless for you, my good friend. Okay, that's Southwest Airlines. Now here is IQ. And IQ, I got to say, I kind of like today's gap up and a little bit of a bearish candle. Other than that, not much to see on IQ. So you got the 100 simple on IQ. We're below it. We're below the moving averages on IQ. It's at $27.43. Just trading real sideways right now. real sideways. So, yeah, that's pretty much about it. Most people who are in IQ have absolute zero $25 puts for October. So if you have that position, I'm already considering that an R down the tubes sometime in October. We will see, but that's all I have on IQ. Next, talk of the town today is Micron Technology. And Micron making some interesting moves post-market. So here's the 5-minute chart, and it's at 44.30. It's going to be real close for my put sale tomorrow, folks. But I'm actually okay if I do get put to shares. I don't think I do, though. I think it ends up fading higher tomorrow. But we'll see. I mean, Micron ran up to 48.5. And then it pulled down all the way to 44.30. So it just made a 10% swing post-market. So I like it. I'm okay for it to fade higher. It's gapping down a little bit, but not very much. So I think it actually probably does gap down and trade higher tomorrow. Let me hop over here. Tony says, glad I sold my calls this afternoon. Yeah, man, I think you can buy some more. This company makes some money. Let's see what we got. Conference call, forecast, first quarter earnings, share, analyst. Our gross margins will also be impacted in the near term by the announced 10% tariffs on $200 billion of imports from China. This will go into effect on September 24th. We're working to gradually mitigate most of the impact these tariffs will have on the next 3 to 4 quarters. The company reported fiscal fourth quarter net income of $4.3 billion or $3.56 a share, compared with $2.37 billion or $1.99 a share a year ago. Wow. And that makes the PE so cheap. Revenue rose to $8.4 billion from $6.14 billion in the year period. That's killer. Yeah, that's superb. We just have to find the right place to buy Micron is really all it is. I mean, I think it does fade tomorrow, but we'll see. If I get put some shares, that's fine. And if that is the case, then I will turn around and sell some covered calls. Leslie has some shares, and she sold some covered calls. And honestly, I'll buy some protective puts if we take out the low of this week. So the low of this week is 43.25. So if we take out that week, I'll buy some protective puts, and then I might actually buy another 10 or 20 shares down here at the 100 on a weekly chart. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got on MU. I'm looking for a gap down and a fade higher tomorrow because the earnings are good. Earnings are good. Okay, next on the list is Match.com. Are you lonely? Do you need a match? Hop over to Match.com. We'll match you with a match. Match Group going berserkers. Look at this gap right here on earnings. Wow. Huge move. I mean, a stock that I never got into for some stupid reason. I mean, internet dating. I know. I mean, it ain't going anywhere. So it just made a new all-time high yesterday by 20 cents. On MTCH, I would love a pullback and a dip buy. I don't have any position on Match. I never have any position on Match, but if I did, that's what I would want it to do. Is I would just look to buy a dip, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there's nothing else to see on the stock. It's just going absolutely rampage Jackson for the last few weeks. That was a phenomenal bounce off the 50 EMA on a weekly chart. Look at that. Not that it's ever bounced off the 50 EMA before or anything. I mean, super rare event for it to bounce off that average, but phenomenal, superb, and spectacular trend. Workday. Let me see a work. So Workday. This is going to be kind of a fun one. I'm going to watch Workday almost as a swing trade, maybe as a day trade. This looks double top-esque. It did close below the neckline, and today you do have an inside day candle. So you have an inside candle. This could do literally either direction nicely. It could go up nicely or down nicely because there's tons of people shorting right now. So if they get trapped, it'll go higher pretty well. But you can see the trend. I mean, the trend is unquestionably bullish. Hasn't been around that long. And it is kind of retesting an old resistance, new support. Hasn't really gotten down there yet, but this is the old resistance. I know Falco and a few other traders sold some puts on Workday at one particular point in time and then bought them back. So that's all I can say on Workday. Watch the inside candle. If it breaks down, come on and give it to me. If it does actually break lower and trades into these long terms, great buy spot. Okay. And similar is going to be Hubs, ticker symbol HUBS. So HubSpot. Similar trends. Again, hasn't been around that long, but it's just absolutely dominating it right now. Really good trends. Daily chart, weekly chart. Things are looking toasty. Also an inside day candle on HubSpot. So I'm not going to short it because it's right at the moving averages. So if we bounce out of here, awesome. If we do break down tomorrow and roll over and continue lower, which is certainly possible, that could be a fun day trade. That's all I see on HubSpot. Nothing specific. Really pretty wave count, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty much that. Ram says, Jeremy, tomorrow's an important day for some options to expire. Could you elaborate? Not much to elaborate with, my man. Here's my thoughts on quadruple witching day. Tons of hype. Nothing ever happens. A lot of volume. A lot of volume is going to come in tomorrow. It's going to be really whipsawy. It's going to be strange. I'm ready for the volume. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening. A lot of rebalancing, some ETFs happening, some ETFs switching some things over. Yeah, man, I'm ready. So I'm going to say just be really cautious tomorrow on what it is that you do trade. But just FYI, for most option expiration Fridays, the big ones, it's not all that it's chalked up to be. It's nothing really exciting. Just your average, normal walk in the park. Lee Bumgarner says, HubSpot and Workday, good for selling a put? Yep. That is correct. Ram says, trade is normal. I will say on big option expiration days, I trade very cautiously. I don't trade normal. I usually actually don't trade at all. So we will see. Unless I see something perfect tomorrow, I won't trade. I usually just watch from the sidelines, let options expire, let whatever's going to happen. But I just kind of watch. Very, very good question, though. All right, so that's HubSpot. Here's Harley-Davidson. And Harley-Davidson, this is a transport stock, and this is one that I was looking for. Here's the weekly, and I like this one. Looks like she's kind of breaking out with a little bit of a triangle. So higher lows, lower highs. Looks like Harley-Davidson's about to break out. I'm not going to personally take this trade for no other particular reason than I can't be in everything, but I like the gap. So just yesterday, you had a new white soldier. Pretty decent upper shadow today, and really not the greatest of closes. So I'd probably give Harley-Davidson a few more days, but if you're looking at playing it, I would buy a dip like that on HOG. And that would be that. Definitely welcome to keep your eyes on it, though. Tim says that's the twin V pattern. That's right. Red Hat was a really pretty gap down today. So we talked about this one yesterday, and you had a nice bearish gap and go. I watched it most of the morning, and here was the setup that I did open and just did not trigger. Once this candle came in, I would put an entry here, and I put a stop there. And I actually left it open once that broke out and just kind of hung out, and it came down to here, and then I canceled it. And then once this white candle came in, I did the exact same trade. So I just reopened it again. Entry there, stop up there, and obviously you can see it broke higher. Now, unfortunately, I should have gotten in at this pennant pattern because, again, it's a very good gap, and you can see it traded to the previous high of the day. So trade down, trade all the way back up. You got a one black crow right there. Pennant pattern, boom, broke down. Now, that's not the worst part. The worst part is I came back and looked at it as a trade right here on a 5-minute chart. So in the afternoon, I was in the afternoon room, and I thought about getting in to this setup. Entry here, stop here. That was going to be pretty much it. And I did not take that trade. Still not entirely sure why I didn't. But there's the trigger. It would have triggered. That would have been a little scary of a candle for sure. And then that would have been a much better candle. And then that would have been a little bit of a scary candle. And that would have moved my stop lower right there. And then inside candle. And then I would have been happy. That would have lowered my stop some more. And that did actually, it would have worked out for a solid R. Good old-fashioned R. Would have exited pretty much at the exact low of the day, and that would have been it. That would have been the trade. Did not take that. But from here, what to do? Well, you have a pretty decent gap down. We do have a previous support. I'm not saying this gap is going to fill, but it very well could. If you're looking at playing Red Hat, just watch how it's going to interact with this support. We will look at it next Tuesday and just see what it does. Next on the list, Shopify. A few people getting in on Shopify up here. SHOP, we're up 74 cents after hours. And again, this was a really nice pullback over here. We did set that trade up, and it did miss it. Lee, did you get a chance to take that one? I know you were looking at Shopify. It was either you or another Lee, but really beautiful pullback on this day. And yeah, it was just a nice bounce. Very good bounce. So at this point, most traders, they have their target on Shopify around 174. Ultimately, though, before the end of the year, I think Shopify will get to the 200s. 239 is going to be a really good target, and just fully depends on how long you want to hold. Because Shopify did bounce off of the 200 simple moving average on a weekly chart. And that is the one that we were playing, right? We played it down there. We've been bullish. A lot of traders have been bullish off of that bounce. So congrats, team. That was a really swell move on Shopify. Killer game. CPRT. Wow. What is going on here? Copart, continually steady revenue growth in the fourth quarter. Consumer cyclical, auto vehicles, parts and services. Man. Yeah, that was needed. This is the 12-month chart. Yeah, that was a needed pullback. This is the daily chart. So if I was going to play Copart, here's what I would expect. This candle will get filled. So it'll do something like this to some degree at some point. It doesn't have to look exactly like that, but it could trade all the way up and then trade all the way down and then bounce. Or it could just start free falling tomorrow and trade down and bounce. But if I was looking at playing Copart after a move of that magnitude, I would start looking at trying to buy on the next dip on a good pullback. It's been a very, very strong trend, almost too strong. But I do like to pull back to the weekly 50. So I agree. I think it's a good dip buying opportunity. Just wait for it to dip a little more. Texas Instruments. My buddy DJ Klein played this one really well back in May. And I don't know. Just hanging out. I mean, Texas Instruments, you got a decent little double bottom. Right here, kind of a cute little double bottom. We closed above the neckline. I'm not personally playing Texas Instruments, but if I did, I would look for a quick fill of that gap, like a flash below, and then I would look to buy that dip. So here's the weekly, and the weekly trend on Texas Instruments, you also bounced off the 50. So this thing had a monstrous 2017 as well, as most stocks did. And 2018, we're just consolidating. So we're chopping around, we're trading sideways, and that's really about it. Looks relatively bullish. Savage. All right. That is my thoughts on Texas Instruments. Next on the list is First Solar, FSLR. And First Solar is gapping down a little bit. So I'm glad we waited. I want today to be an inside candle. It's gapping down to 49.48. I'm going to put it on the list for tomorrow morning. I don't actually think it's going to open down there, is it? No. Very, very, very light volume. Probably doesn't even open down there. But I will throw it out just in case. Friday morning. First one I've written down for the morning so far. Ben says, nice double bottom under those moving averages. Yeah, man, I'm with you on that. I'm with you. I'll come back and look at it tomorrow, Bill, since you have a covered call expiring worthless, and hopefully that expires worthless and you can do it again. All right, Facebook having a little bit of a bounce today. Hooray! So we never close below 159.70, which is good. But for those traders who have either leaps or long-term puts, long-term calls or shares, with a close below here. This is the next place that I would buy some protection just in case. Just in case. If it closes below the low of today, hopefully won't happen, but if it does, that would be a good spot to just protect yourself. I love the fact that it's bouncing off of the 100 on a weekly chart. Right, here's the 100. Pretty pleased about that. And let's just see how high it can bounce. If it bounces, right? It needs to take out that support. Otherwise, I'm cool with Facebook going a little bit higher. Yeah, Brian Weber made a good trade on that one. Really decent gap. Again, we are coming into the 20 again. Ray says, I got out of a 165 naked put. I was sweating it, but I got out for break even. All right. Well, hey, good job not losing on the trade, man. So, yeah, that's all I can say about Facebook. Most traders who are playing it are bullish. If you're not in, you really could wait for a quick flash lower. I think it could wick below there, but that's why I'm very specific when I say close. I think it could certainly wick into that gap and fill the gap a little bit. But just in case, if you do get a good close down there, you probably want to buy a put, like literally as a just in case. I do think Facebook ends up bouncing off that price. All right, just got a few left, nothing too crazy. Mickey D's. McDonald's is just chopping around, bouncing around. It had a retest gap. It's retesting. Had a new white soldier yesterday. It's just trading sideways, folks. McDonald's is probably going to be a really good stock for a long-term bull put spread, long-term put sale, or maybe an iron condor if you want to get risky with it. I'd prefer just put position because the trend is really nice and bullish. That's about it. So that's all I would do is if you're playing McDonald's is just kind of hang tight. If you're in longer term shares, longer term calls, or you have a put sale, we'll put spread longer term, something like that. I think that could be fresh. McDonald's done. Next on the list, Boeing. Took some of BA. Boeing. The exact opposite of boring. I don't know if any of my bigger account traders sold some puts down here or not, but if you did, well done. Ben, congrats. It did hit 360 before October, and looks like she's going to keep going for more. Here's the weekly chart, and very nice distribution phase. I wouldn't be buying Boeing at the top of this distribution phase. If I hide this right side right here, kind of zoom out. So this is a nice distribution phase, and I really wouldn't personally get in on a breakout of that phase. Unless we trade sideways for a whole heap ton and then break out, that's fine. But I'd really want to pull back and then dip. That would be the best thing. And if it does break out, cool. Right, so if it does do this, then you're going to want to try to catch that pullback on a dip. But, I mean, can't argue. The trend is certainly bullish. XLK, pretty similar to the Qs, having that nice bullish gap up with a good volume. Trend, to me, looks like it will just slowly continue higher. Foot Locker, ticker symbol FL. So Foot Locker, this is a fun one. So I mentioned if you're looking at getting into this trade, you could do it with half an R at 46.30. The low of this candle, 46.33. So if you still have that trade open, you most likely or should not have gotten triggered in if you use those exact numbers. So Foot Locker is still trading sideways, hasn't broken those supports. It might not, obviously. If it does kind of flash a wick or something up here, probably could leave that open. But we'll look at Foot Locker one more time on Merchant Monday, which is next week, and just see what it's doing. My boy Bob requesting Taylor Brands. TLRD. Ooh, I see exactly what you're looking at, Bob. Long term, looks good, man. So my boy Bob looking at getting in bullish on Taylor Brands. Here's the daily charts, and they just paid the dividends. I would probably leg into this position. So obviously, hammer candle, new white soldier off of the 200 on a daily. You have the 100 kind of in front of your face. But I'd probably play it bullish into here and then let it pull back again and then add to it. So maybe like get in with a half an R initially because you are above the 200 also on a weekly. So that's a big deal. And it would be superfluous if this candle can close bearish on a weekly and then it pops on Monday. That'd be a really nice move, but I do like that candle, Bob. I like that location. Good chart, man. Thanks for bringing that up. Hope you wreck it. Only two left, and they both contain the letter M. I like 3M long-term down here. I do. It's off the 100 on a weekly. It's retesting. This is no slouch of a retest from 250 all the way down to 192. That's 40 points any way you slice it, and that's a nice 20%-ish pullback. So I would say with this particular pullback, I mean, long term would be my thought. Here's the daily, and we're just sitting right at the 200. Right at the 200. So we're in an accumulation process presently. We're accumulating, and you have a very, very nice high wave candle at the 200. So really, we could break either direction, down, or obviously we could break higher. What I would love 3M to do is trade sideways for a few days and then make up its mind. Right? That's kind of like the preference. If it does break lower, I think you're going to get a great buying opportunity. And if for some reason it gaps down on earnings, which is about a month from now, and it gaps down, I think that'd be a wonderful buying opportunity as well. Or as Ben says, buy the poop out of it. That's right. And MasterCard is just the trend from heaven. I don't know what else you need. It hasn't gotten parabolic yet. It's just a nice, cool, calm, cool as a cucumber, bullish trend. If you got MasterCard, this is the daily chart, and just looks, I don't know, guys, looks good. I wouldn't be bearish on it specifically. I mean, today was an all-time high, so I wouldn't specifically buy it today. But if it pulls back or has a little bit of a dip, some size, I would get in small up here if I was getting in on MasterCard. So I'd get in like a little bit of a smaller size, a little bit of a pinky toe, just to see what it does. And if it keeps going higher, brilliant. But if it does end up pulling back, I'm going to turn off the extended hours. Yeah. I think if it pulls back, you could add to that position. I'd really like it off of the 50 EMA on an hourly chart. That's it for me, folks, for Transportation Thursday. Beautiful stuff. Well done. And tomorrow is Finance Friday and also option expiration. Hopefully it's payday for a few of us. And depending on if you're an option seller and you know what you got. So I got Budweiser expiring tomorrow. I got MU expiring tomorrow. Let me go look at this. Goldman Sachs, Erect Me, First Solar, LNG. Eventbrite, new IPO. That one's going to be pretty cool. Everyone's saying thank you. Oh, man, my pleasure. I am doing what I love, folks, so it is my honor to be here. NIO and Southwest. Got to look at Square, CRON, and anything else? Well, all right. What's up, Nancy? Diego says, thanks. Excellent job. Hey, man, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Super kind of you to say. All right, team. I will bid you adieu then. And until then, love life, and trade it. Folks, you're amazing. Bye-bye.